Hey, greetings, Dr. Selvi. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. I am Jackson Charles. Today I will talk about how Iago uses a Machiavellian technique to manipulate and destroy others in Othello. This presentation will explore Iago as a Machiavellian, valiant through deceit and strategic manipulation that ultimately destroy Othello and those around him. By examining Iago's actions and motivation, we will now better understand how his Machiavellian nature fuels the tragedy of the play of Othello. William Shakespeare is widely regarded as one of the greatest playwrights in the history. He wrote Othello in the early 17th and late 16th centuries. The play is a powerful tragedy that explores the themes of jealousy, trust, love, betrayal, and deception. Othello is a Moorish general of the army in the Venetian society. Othello is a complex and tragic figure. He is brave and honorable. They are highly respected by his peers, but he is also vulnerable or weak to manipulation due to his insecurity of about his race. Desdemona is Othello's wife and the daughter of Brabantio, the nobleman of the Venetian society. She is a faithful woman who loves her husband deeply. She was accused of unfaithfulness by Othello, but she remains loyal to him to the end, even in the face of death. However, their love becomes target of Iago, Othello's ensign, who deeply sent resentment and jealousy. Through deceit and manipulation, Iago's, Iago convinced Othello that Desdemona has been unfaithful, planting seeds of doubt and jealousy. This betrayal leads to tragic consequences as Othello's trust is broken and his actions, driven by Iago's lies, resulted in destruction and death. Nicola Machiavellian was an Italian Renaissance diplomat, philosopher, and writer, best known as the author of the book titled The Prince. Nicola Machiavellian book titled The Prince advises the rulers on how to gain and keep power. He believed that sometimes leaders must use deception, tricky or lies, and manipulation to stay in power and control. The term Machiavellian describes a person who is clever and willing to deceive others to achieve their goals, or cunning and deceptive personality type that prioritize their self-interest and power over morality. Machiavellian traits, Machiavellian traits are qualities like manipulation, deception, lack of morality, and strategic thinking. This trait helps valiance in literature to control others, to lie, to get what they want, ignore right and wrong, and plan carefully to succeed. Because of these traits, valiance become uh, clever and dangerous, making stories more exciting yet challenging strategy. Valiance are compelling and reflect the darker troublemaking aspects of stories. According to Nicola Machiavellian book titled The Prince, he argued that it is much safer or good to be feared by people than loved, that a ruler must often ignore morality to protect the state. Iago is a valiant in Othello, or is a key character in the William Shakespeare play of Othello, serving as Othello's ensign, a trusted military officer who helps and leads to support him. In his role, Iago is close to Othello and appears to be loyal and dependable. However, despite his outward loyalty and appearance, Iago is secretly plotting against Othello. This motive was driven by jealousy and anger over being passed over promotion. He uses manipulation and deceit to undermine Othello and causes his downfall. This contrast between Iago seems to be loyalty and hidden betrayal makes him powerful and dangerous character in the play. Iago's motives include jealousy over Cassius' promotion, suspicion that Othello betrayed him, and a strong desire for power and control. He feels angry because Cassio received a promotion he wanted, and he also suspects of Othello without evidence. At the same time, Iago enjoys manipulating the people around him. However, his motives are unclear because he keeps changing his reasons for revenge. This makes him more dangerous no one because no one can fully understand and predict his motive. Shakespeare presents Iago as a valiant whose mysterious motives make his manipulation and cruelty even more frightening. Iago as a master manipulator who takes advantage of weak and emotional people like Rodrigo. Iago knows that Rodrigo is deeply in love with Desdemona, so he uses these weaknesses to control him. He repeatedly promotes Rodrigo that he can win Desdemona if he continues to help and give him money. However, these promises are false because Iago never intends to help him. Instead, he uses Rodrigo's wealth to benefit himself and to carry out his scam against others. Iago gives Rodrigo false hope about Desdemona. He constantly tells him that Desdemona will eventually lose interest in Othello and chose him instead. Those lies keep Rodrigo obedient and dependent on Iago. Because Rodrigo is emotionally too weak, therefore he was all easily influenced and he trusts Iago without questioning his motives. Iago manipulates Cassio by first getting him drunk and causing him to lose control in a fight. As a result, Cassio's reputation is ruined and Othello removes him from his position. After creating the problem, Iago pretends to help Cassio by advising him to seek Desdemona's support. However, this part of Iago's evil plan this is part of Iago's evil plan because he later uses Cassio's friendship with Desdemona to make Othello jealous. Shakespeare shows that Iago is dangerous because he secretly creates problems while pretending to be an honest and helpful friend. Iago manipulates Othello by planting seeds of doubt about Desdemona and Cassio. He does not tell direct lies at first, but uses hints, questions, and suspicious comments to make Othello to think something is wrong. This method is effective because Othello begins to imagine the worst on each one. Desdemona, jealousy grows in Othello's mind and he starts losing trust in Desdemona. Iago's indirect approaches make Othello more likely to believe in him because Iago appears to be honest and trustworthy. Iago's indirect approaches and manipulations are dangerous because he carefully builds jealousy step by step. Iago completely controls Othello's thinking by using indicative and false evidence. The indicative is very important to Othello because it is a symbol of his love for Desdemona. Iago secretly places Desdemona's indicative with Cassius and make it looks like a proof of an affair. Since the handkerchief is a symbol of love, Othello becomes convicted that Desdemona has betrayed him. By this stage, Othello trusts Iago more than his own wife. Iago's manipulation fills Othello with jealousy and anger until he can no longer think clearly. The William Shakespeare shows false evidence and emotional manipulation can completely control a person's mind and destroy their lives. Iago uses deception and false appearance to manipulate everyone around him. Many characters call him Honest Iago because he pretends to be loyal, trustworthy, and helpful. However, in reality, he is secretly lying, planning, and destroying the lives of others. This creates the important themes of appearance versus reality, where things are not truly what they seem. Dramatic irony happens when the audience understand audience knows the truth, but the characters do not know. The audience understands from the beginning that Iago is dishonest and evil, while characters like Othello, Cassio, and Desdemona continue to trust him. This makes the tragedy more painful because the audience can see the danger before the character realize it themselves. Iago shows complete lack of morality and guilt. He manipulates innocent people without feeling it regret or sympathy for the suffering he causes. Even when his plans lead to tragedy and death, Iago remains cold and unfeeling. His action contributes to death of Desdemona, Emilia, Rodrigo, and eventually Othello himself. Iago with Machiavellian cruelty because he was cunning, dishonest, and willing to harm anyone to achieve power and control. He uses people as tools and never cares about the consequences of his actions. Shakespeare presents Iago as a cruel and dangerous valiant whose manipulation and lack of morality brings tragedy to everyone around him. The consequences of Iago's actions are tragic and destructive through lies, deception, and manipulation. It causes the downfall of Othello at the beginning of the play. Othello is respected, confident, and successful, but Iago slowly fills his mind with jealousy and suspicion. As a result of Othello, as a result, Othello loses trust in Desdemona and eventually destroys both her and his own life. Iago's manipulation also leads to the death of several important characters, including Desdemona, Emilia, and Rodrigo. His lies create confusion, hatred, and violence among people who were once trusted each other. Shakespeare shows that manipulation is dangerous because it can destroy relationship, corrupt good people, and lead to terrible tragedy. Firstly, Iago controls others by manipulating their emotions and weaknesses. He influences Othello through jealousy and uses Rodrigo for money and actions. Deceives Cassio to ruin his reputation. Secondly, he thinks strategically every move he makes is carefully planned, from planting seeds of doubt to using handicap as false evidence. He always stays one step ahead, ensuring others act exactly as he wants. Thirdly, Iago completely lacks ethics. He shows no guilt or sympathy even when his actions lead to suffering and death. His manipulation destroys relationship and causes tragedy without any moral concern. Shakespeare present Iago as a Machiavellian valiant because he is intelligent, calculating, and morally corrupt, using others only as a tools for his own gain. In conclusion, in conclusion, Iago uses Machiavellian traits throughout the play to manipulate and destroy others in Othello. Uh, he carefully control people like Othello, Cassio, and Rodrigo through his lies, deception, and psychological tricks. His actions show he uses intelligence and planning for selfish and harmful purposes. This manipulation leads to jealousy, confusion, and tragedy. Ultimately, Iago shows that manipulation and deception can destroy lives when power is used without morality. Shakespeare presents him as a warning that when a person has ambition without ethics, it leads to destruction and suffering for everyone involved. Thank you for watching, and this is the end of slide 15. Thank you.